Hi there, my name is Ruth Tansey and I am so passionate about helping people overcome their gut issues. See, I've had my own personal journey with dreadful gut symptoms that, gosh, were longer than I care to remember, but well over 20 years. I struggled with bloating, I struggled with constipation, it led on to headaches and lethargy. I couldn't eat anything, I was so sensitive. Are you like this? Are you really struggling with symptoms related to your gut and you don't know what's causing them? Are you like me when I was poorly? Are you sick and tired of feeling this way? Constantly worrying and not knowing the cause of your bloating and other awful gut symptoms? Are you ready to take control of your gut health and get your life back? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, then you are most definitely in the right place. I have developed a program based on a functional medicine approach to healing the gut, and I am so passionate about this. So, if you feel like you need some support, which I think we all do when we're struggling with our gut health, especially if you've been on a journey with it for many, many years, if you want to work with somebody to help guide you and take you through a proven step-by-step program, then you want to keep on watching. So most people with IBS, and I'm guessing you're probably the same, experience lots of unpredictable symptoms. They come when we least expect them or least want them. I know I used to find that mine would come if it was before like a social event, a friend's wedding. Going on holiday was just dreadful. I used to really worry about that and how bad my IBS would be, flaring up on the flight, what I was going to eat, all those sorts of things that we don't want to be worrying about. Social events like just even going out for a meal were just so difficult. Is this what you're like as well? Are you living in a constant panic? I know I was. I used to feel so uncomfortable in my clothes all the time. Everything would just press on me, especially after lunch. I would always blow up after lunch. And I can remember having to take, for many years, an elastic band with me to work. And after I'd had my lunch, I would have to unzip my pants. And I would have to attach the elastic band in order to give my belly some room because it had expanded so much. And this was so uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable enough because of the pain, but then I was really uncomfortable in my clothes as well. And so the rest of the day was just a matter of getting through the day the best way I could until I could get home. And I'd get home and I'd put like some really awful huge baggy tracky bottoms on, and I'd probably get into bed. I might even put my pajamas on and literally get into bed. What kind of a life is that? And it used to really, really, really frustrate me that I didn't know. I just didn't know what was causing it. I'd been to the doctors, I'd been to see specialists, and no one could tell me anything. It was always, everything is fine, blood tests are normal, investigations, nothing comes back, and it gets beyond frustrating. But I want you to know, if this is you, if this has been your experience, then don't despair. Because the medical model don't always have all the answers. But there is a natural way to healing the gut. And if you're interested in natural health and you want to get a resolve of your problems, then I'm really here to help you. So the harsh reality most people face, unfortunately, is they start their day hoping that this might be the day that everything resolves. But unfortunately, by the time lunchtime comes, this is a distant memory. Because everything has just gone to pot, pain has set in, especially after lunch most often, and maybe fatigue as well, or embarrassing symptoms. And then they just feel like all hope is lost. And I know I used to be like this. I might start off the day okay-ish, not amazing, but not too bad. But then by the time lunchtime came, I'd be crippled, I would be so uncomfortable and I just want to go home. So most people with IBS or even with gut issues that have gone on for a long, long time dream of saying that they are finally symptom free and can get on with their life. And I am so thrilled to sit here today knowing that I overcome all those, or overcame, should I say, all of those horrible symptoms, to be sat here today to be able to talk to you, to have developed this program, to take clients from feeling awful with horrible symptoms to the other side, to feeling amazing, to that flat tummy, to feeling on top of the world, to feeling like they're in control of their lives again. And this is such a rewarding job for me to do. It really is my true passion. So like I said, I had chronic IBS for well over 20 years. It caused me so many problems. And for 20 years, I didn't really live my life the way I wanted to. It was always around my IBS. So I would cancel social events. I would be too scared to go out to eat. Or if I did go out to eat, I would be ringing the restaurant ahead. I would dictate to everybody where we could go, because there weren't many restaurants that would cater for me. And I didn't want to go and then end up in bed for 2 days afterwards feeling horrible. So most of the time I just resigned myself to not have that enjoyment. And I really, really enjoy going out to eat. And that was a big part of my social life. But drinking as well, you know, especially from being a young girl, I suffered with my gut issues from the age of 15. So like getting into your late teens and early 20s, when you want to go out and socialise with your friends and just be normal, I never felt like I could do that. So I tried every pill and potion. I think my doctor put me on every single medication under the sun for IBS before he finally referred me. And so I got referred, and I had investigation after investigation after investigation, cameras everywhere. And every single time they would come back as normal. And I'd want to cry, because I'm far from normal. So how can you not be finding anything that's wrong with me? And if this is you, don't feel like this is all in your head, because it isn't. Keep watching and I'll show you. So I'm going to share with you now the biggest mistake most people make when they're trying to get control of their IBS. I'm also going to take you through the 6 stages of healing the gut so that you can live pain-free. And I'm going to share with you my simple, proven, step-by-step program that I use to resolve my own issues and how you can get started today. So, ask yourself now, what are you willing to let go of in order to achieve the life you truly desire? Because sometimes we need to do this. So how do I know this works? So I gave up my well-paid job because I was so stressed out and sick to death of experiencing my symptoms and no one being able to help me, that I decided I was going to retrain as a nutritional therapist and a well-being coach. I was going to find out what was wrong with me. And in doing so, I knew if I could help myself resolve my gut issues, I could help anyone. So that was my passion, that was my drive. Find out what is going on with me. I really, really needed to know. So what I want for you is I want you to get your confidence back like I have. I want to see that there is an end to your bloating, an end to your pain. I want to see that you are symptom free, that you are able to live your life. You can go out and socialize, eat what you want. Now, when I say eat what you want, obviously I'm a nutritional therapist and I want everyone to eat super healthy. But I also want for you to be able to go out and have something that maybe isn't so super healthy and not have a huge reaction to it, because that would be like amazing, wouldn't it? So previously there was no way I could have gone out and had pizza or gone on holiday and had ice cream. Well, not without actually flaring up and being really ill. Whereas now I can. I love being healthy. I love following a healthy diet, and I know that that keeps me looking young. I know that that keeps me feeling energized, and I know that it's supporting my health long term. But if I want to go and treat myself now and again, I can, and I don't have a flare up, and that is such an incredible place to be, and I think everyone should be able to have that. So if you're suffering with pain and embarrassing symptoms and all of the things that come hand in hand with IBS, keep watching. So I typically work with two types of people. Those who are fed up of IBS showing up in their lives, and those who feel they no longer have any other option but to tackle it head on because the symptoms are just too dreadful and too embarrassing. And I typically work with women aged 25 to 35 who are stressed out, who are busy, and I help them to identify what is going on in their gut, what's causing them their problems, so that I can help them achieve their perfect gut health. So here we have a testimonial. So Chris came to me, he was suffering with awful urgency and pain, and it had been ongoing for the majority of his life. He'd been diagnosed with IBS when he was just 18 and put on Meveverin. And the Meveverin had helped to a degree, but not essentially got him to where he wanted to be. So he would dip in and out of taking it. So he wasn't religiously taking it every day because he just felt that it wasn't really doing what he wanted it to do. So when he came to see me, we put him on a program. We did a food intolerance test as well because he really felt like he was reacting to food. And within 8 weeks at his follow-up, he'd literally had one episode where he'd had a flare-up. And his pain was so much better. And I'll read his testimonial out to you now. It's not an exaggeration to say Ruth has changed my life. She is the first person that's truly listened to my story and explained everything in a way that makes sense. Having the intolerance test is important, but only the beginning. Working with Ruth is priceless. And that was from Chris Hobson. And it's so lovely for me to receive those testimonials, to know that I have been part of that journey. And I'll share with you another testimonial. This one is from Elizabeth Martin. So glad my osteopath recommended I come to see Ruth. I have had 4 sessions and I'm so grateful for her kind and sensitive manner, her helpful rescue, her suggestions, and I would highly recommend this place and Ruth. And she gives us 5 stars. So Elizabeth had come to me with just dreadful bloating and constipation, and we quickly turned things around for her, and she just felt so much better and wanted to let me know how well she was doing. So I'm going to share with you now my proven step-by-step system with life-changing results. And they really are life-changing. You know, when you're going through awful IBS symptoms, it ruins your life. And no one should have to put up with that. So in order to transform your gut, I work with a 3-step system. So first of all, we identify the root cause of your issue. We identify what is actually going on in your gut. Step 2, you will go on a proven recovery program. And step 3, I help you achieve your perfect gut health. So most people with IBS, they get obsessed, unfortunately, with the wrong thing completely. What do you think that might be? Medication, like I did, constantly at the doctor's, trying every pill and potion. Or maybe if you turn to more natural medicines, and it's the latest natural medicine that comes on the market, the latest probiotic, the latest food, whatever it might be. It's not getting to the root cause, it's just masking symptoms. And you could be spending and wasting a ton of money, like I did, on the wrong thing. And often, because people don't know what's causing their IBS, they end up at the doctor's, and the doctor doesn't know either. And so sometimes we might get a referral, and they might investigate further to find out whether or not you have an underlying irritable bowel disease. And that's great, that's a good thing, because we want to rule out things like that. But quite often people are in and out of the doctor's surgery and they're just not helped at all. Or they're given a pill, sent away, nothing resolves, and you feel like you're pestering the doctor and wasting his time. But all you want is to be well. All you want is to be free from your symptoms. And all you need is to get to the root cause. We must find the root cause in order to be symptom free. And how do we do this? So with my program, we use a gold standard comprehensive stool test. Yes, you will be taking a stool test. I've done many of them over the years myself because I like to regularly check what's going on in my gut. I'm quite fascinated in that area. And they're so revealing. It's the most amazing test to show you what is going on in your gut. So here is a little overview of a sample report just off the first page of what this test can actually show. So it's nice and simple to look at. We're looking at obviously a traffic light system of red, amber and green. So for this particular client, inflammation, dysbiosis and infection are all flagged up in red. So these are the key areas for this particular individual that we really need to look into. So inflammation. So the inflammation could be directly related to an irritable bowel disease, especially if things like calprotectin and EPX are elevated. And depending on what level they're elevated to, would indicate whether it was early stage or whether we were in a full-blown irritable bowel disease. So that would then warrant further investigation. Dysbiosis. So if you've heard of dysbiosis, you'll know that that's a bacterial imbalance. So oftentimes we have too much of the bad bacteria in the gut and it plays havoc. So we need to be able to rectify that. And then infection. So infection can come from a parasite, I know, eek. It can come from a yeast infection or it can come from a bacterial infection. But once we know what it is, or maybe it's a combination of all three, we can set about to get rid of it. Knowledge is power. The test will also show whether you are struggling with your digestion. We can't come from a place of healing if we're not actually able to absorb the nutrients that we've got in our diet or through the supplements that we take. We need to make sure that our pancreatic elastase is at a good enough level so we can digest our fats, our carbohydrates and our proteins. And if we don't, then we need to support that so that we can actually heal. It's so important that we know this information. And then another area that it shows is whether or not there is any need for probiotics. So it's going to look at your whole microbiome, and that's the healthy bacteria in your gut as well as the unhealthy bacteria in your gut. So this is a really comprehensive report. And I use this in my program with every single client. This is the start point. And what the lab will do is they will analyze to see what natural medicines or even antibiotics in some cases are going to be the most effective at getting rid of those infections. So that parasite, that yeast or that bacteria. So the 6 things that you need to do to banish your gut symptoms for good. Now this is a 6-stage program that we're going to go into in more detail. But first of all is we remove, then we restore, then we replace, next comes reinoculate, then it's repair, and finally we rebalance. So I'm going to take you through these right now. So the fact is, if you don't have a way to banish the symptoms and side effects of IBS, you're always going to live in fear of your next flare-up, and that is not nice. That's no fun for anybody, because you're letting your symptoms, your gut, your IBS control your life. So let's get started with remove. So the remove stage of the program, we're going to be removing bad food. We cannot expect to heal the gut if we're going to pollute it with sugars, white carbohydrates, processed foods, all that bad stuff. We need to get rid of that. We need to be looking at a healthy, wholesome diet. The other things that we will most likely remove for a period of time would be gluten and dairy, because both of which, even if you're not intolerant to them, they're really hard to digest. But when you work on the program, you don't have to feel that you are restricted, because there's so much amazing alternatives to these products on the market these days. We are so lucky None of this was available when I was going through my struggles with my gut. And now there is so much alternatives, so many even alternatives out there. So you don't need to worry about what am I going to eat if I have to remove this. And I know it can sound scary, and especially if you're the type of person who gets up in the morning and has maybe toast and a sandwich for your lunch and pasta for your evening meal, you're thinking, how on earth am I going to give up gluten? But you can still have those things. We're just going to make some changes, and I will guide you through it. So there's no need to worry. Also, as part of the remove stage, if anything flags up in your stool test, such as a yeast, a parasite, or a bacterial infection, then we will use natural herbs to eradicate. We'll also look at SIBO. So SIBO is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and it's thought that 70% of IBS or gut problems is triggered through SIBO. So we need to understand if SIBO is an issue for you, and if it is, we do a separate test to find out what your levels are like and what we need to do in order to get rid. Next, we restore. So if you're struggling with constipation or diarrhea or both intermittently, we need to restore that bowel back to its great normal functionality. Opening your bowel easily once a day, ideally 2 to 3 times a day if possible. But we don't want it to be a struggle. We want the stools to look like healthy stools. Yeah, we don't want them like rabbit pellets, and we don't want them like mush. We want this healthy sausage. And this is what we will do during the restore stage of the program. Then comes replace. So if we need to, if your digestive capability, which many digestive capabilities are an issue when we have gut issues, then we're going to use some really great high potency plant-based digestive enzymes to help you assimilate your nutrients so that you can heal your gut quicker. So this is really important, especially if your digestive enzymes are low. We will be supporting those, and you will be using some really effective enzymes in order to do that. Then we re-inoculate. So by re-inoculation, we're going to put in the good bacteria. So you've probably heard of all those probiotic drinks, and maybe you're taking them. And I know I fell into this trap. They are so full of sugar, it is unbelievable. So we don't want to be adding sugar into our gut because sugar feeds bad bacteria. We want to use well-researched, proven, scientifically proven strains of probiotic. So we're not just going to randomly pick a probiotic up off the shelf, and definitely not from a supermarket. We are going to be using top quality, scientifically researched probiotics during this program. So next comes repair and rebalance. So we want to make sure that we heal the gut so that we're no longer going to react to foods, so that we can eat a much more wider variety of foods. And I know especially a lot of my clients struggle with eating a lot of different vegetables because they just cause them so much pain. And we want to be able to eat a massive variety of vegetables because they all give us different nutrition. They all help to build this healthy microbiome. And a lot of the time my clients really enjoy vegetables. It's just that they can't eat them because they trigger their symptoms. But once we have repaired and once we have rebalanced the gut, then we no longer react to those foods because the proteins from that food isn't escaping through the bowel wall because it's got holes in it into the bloodstream and causing the immune system to overreact. So that is why we do the repair stage and the rebalance stage. This is a crucial part of the program because if a leaky gut is left for too long, it will lead on. It will lead on to an autoimmune condition where literally the body attacks itself because it cannot recognize friend from foe. And so the result is you can get to live your life pain and symptom free. No more bloating, no more awful symptoms, and you will just feel on top of the world. And I will be so excited when you achieve this. So we have another testimonial here. So this is from Andrew Cotton, who worked with me many, many years ago. So he puts, Ruth recommended a number of tests, and from the results of these put me on various supplements to support my recovery. She also provided a lot of dietary and nutritional advice, which has meant a radical change to my diet, which amongst other things has all but eliminated IBS, which I have had for over 30 years. I am now feeling much healthier with a much better balanced diet. I have found Ruth to be very knowledgeable, understanding, supportive, approachable, competent and professional, and would have no hesitation in recommending her. And that is such an amazing testimonial for me to receive, and to know that I have been part of Andrew's journey is just incredible. So, this program is perfect for you if you want to be rid of the bloated stomach once and for all. If you want to feel good in your clothes, if you want to be rid of the embarrassing symptoms that come along with IBS, if you want to be pain-free, and also if you want to get back in control of your life and live the life that you truly desire. So would you like a simplified step-by-step system that supports you to help you banish all those symptoms and all the pain associated with IBS? So I have an opening to take on some new clients. Could this be you? So how does this work? This is for you if you are fed up of your clothes feeling uncomfortable. You're done with the pain and side effects of IBS, and you're ready to start living your life confidently. This, however, is not for you if you are making excuses and not willing to make the changes, if you're stuck in information gathering and not prepared to take action and invest in yourself and your health. This is also not for you if you are not serious about taking the action that's going to be needed for you to recover from your gut issues. This is for you, however, if you are done with all those embarrassing side effects that come hand in hand with IBS. So, are you finally ready to find out what's causing your gut issues? I'm offering a free personal one-to-one exploratory session. This session is where we really deep dive into your issues to see how we can best help you with one of our programs. But there is a warning, because this opportunity will not be hanging around forever. So if you're serious about getting your health back on track, saying goodbye to your gut issues, you want to act now. So click to apply and let's see whether or not we are a match to work together, and if I can help you achieve your perfect gut health.